So you're thinking about moving to Johns Creek, Georgia, and you want to know what it's like to live in Johns Creek, Georgia. Well, I'm going to give you the good and the bad, the ugly, as we go over the pros and cons of Johns Creek, Georgia. We're going to start this off with just a quick overview of Johns Creek, Georgia. The median household income for Johns Creek, Georgia is $126,000. The population of Johns Creek, Georgia is about 84,551. The median home value for a single-family detached home in Johns Creek, Georgia is $614,158. The median rent in Johns Creek, Georgia is $1,800 per month. 76% of people own their home. And a couple rankings for you. Niche.com puts Johns Creek, Georgia as the #1 best place to raise a family in Georgia. And Money.com ranked Johns Creek in 2019 as one of the top 20 best places to live in all the U.S. And while these numbers can be helpful, let's look at a few other things that Niche.com has to say about Johns Creek, Georgia. Overall, Niche.com gives Johns Creek, Georgia an A+. When it comes to schools, it comes in as an A+. Housing comes in as an A-. Good for families comes in as an A+. Crime and safety comes in as a B-, which I'm going to disagree with there, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in this video. Nightlife comes in as a B+. That might be a little high as well, and diversity comes in as an A. So for this video, here are the major things that we're going to talk about. We're going to cover cost of living, schools, homes and neighborhoods, things to do, safety, raising a family here, HOAs and city restrictions, food, and traffic. Well, that's enough of an overview. Let's get started right now. Let's do it. Hey, if this is your first on this channel and you want to know everything there is to know about living, working, playing, and breathing all things Atlanta and the metro Atlanta area, including Johns Creek, then hit that subscription button, tap that notification bell so you can be the first to know about everything that's happening here in Atlanta, Georgia. My name's Jonathan, and I'm getting calls, texts, and emails from people just like you looking to make that smooth move here to Atlanta, Georgia, and I absolutely love it. So whether you're making that move right now, a month from now, or a year from now, give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email. I'd be happy to help you make that move here to Atlanta, Georgia. My contact information is below. Well, we're talking about pros and cons of Johns Creek, Georgia, like we said in the intro to this video. So we're starting with the cost of living. And the main cost of living is going to be home values. And home values are high here compared to what you see around Metro Atlanta. Metro Atlanta right now is running about a median sales price for a single family detached home right at $410,000. As you already saw in the intro in this video, Johns Creek's median sales price is just over $614,000. So it is more costly to live here, but you're going to see why with some of the videos that you see here and the amenities that are around the area and some of these neighborhoods that you're paying a premium for what you get, because things in Johns Creek are just nice. Everywhere you go, it's nice. It's well kept. You feel like you're living that life of luxury no matter where you go in Johns Creek. To give you an idea of some of the prices here in Johns Creek, over the last 180 days, the highest sales price for a home was $4.7 million. Now this was an 1,800 square foot home in a luxury neighborhood. But if you go on the exact opposite end, you can find some homes that are a little lower. The lowest sales price for a home was a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home with just over 1,200 square feet for $370,000. Again, you're paying that premium for living in this area. You could buy a $360,000 home that has more square footage in other areas, but again, Johns Creek, you get what you pay for here. With all that said, it's definitely a con for cost of living here in Johns Creek. There are some townhomes that are available that are a little lower than that, but once again, for the most part, if you compare different areas of Atlanta, you're going to pay more in Johns Creek. Now, let's move on to the next one, and that's schools. The schools here are fantastic. Now again, what you're looking for in a school will determine whether you like the schools here or not. But when it just comes to the overall ratings, which a lot of these are based on test scores, the Johns Creek schools rank very high. U.S. News always puts out ratings for schools, high schools, elementary, middle schools, colleges, and the like every year. And the last ratings that came out for Johns Creek High School, it was ranked as number 16 in all the state of Georgia. And for Northview High School in Johns Creek, it was ranked as the number 6 high school in the state of Georgia. So again, you've got really good schools here, a lot of opportunities here when it comes to academics, AP classes. All the sports are represented here, and you just got a lot of things to choose from. Extracurricular activities with bands and arts and theater, orchestra, all these things are offered at these high schools, and it's very competitive here. So just come in knowing that it's very competitive both academically and outside of academics and extracurricular activity. I've talked with some parents before. I was a teacher way back when, and some parents actually avoid some of these schools that are so competitive because they didn't think maybe their child could do as well here because of how competitive it is. So just going in knowing that ultra competitive environment, if that's what you want, with high academics, really good sports and extracurricular, and these are some areas to look at when it comes to Johns Creek. So some of the homes in Johns Creek do feed into other schools that are not in the city of Johns Creek, but the two main high schools in Johns Creek, once again, are Northview High School and Johns Creek High School. Next thing to jump to is homes and neighborhoods. Now, I'm not just talking about prices. We've already talked about that. But I'm just talking about the neighborhoods themselves and the areas you're living in. Again, everywhere you seem to go in Johns Creek, everything is well kept. And some of the neighborhoods that you can move into, some of the ones that are really highly sought after, are Medlock Bridge neighborhood and Doublegate. There was a running joke, and there was actually a person that I helped that was moving in from out of state. They were talking with myself and talking with people at their work, and they pretty much said in Johns Creek that at some point in time you're going to end up in Doublegate or Medlock Bridge. Now, there are a lot of other neighborhoods and a lot of other nice neighborhoods here, but these are two of the larger ones here in Johns Creek. There are a number of gated communities that you can live in Johns Creek, and there's a few that are not just gated but also have security people at the front. So you have that depending on how much you want to pay. Depends on if you want to go to really high end, that's available here. Country Club of the South is really sought after, and St. Ives. Both of these are in Johns Creek. Both of these are golfing communities as well. They have the clubhouse there. They have the swim and tennis and everything you can look for when it comes to living luxury here in Johns Creek. Now, once again, these aren't the only ones to move into, but these are really highly sought after. Now, Johns Creek itself is broken into kind of different areas or communities, and I'll just do a quick breakdown of what those communities are. You have the OC community, the Medlock community, Johns Creek North, Tech Park, Shake Rag, Newtown, River Estates, and Autry Mill. Next, we're going to cover things to do in Johns Creek. Now, this has some pros and some cons to it. I'm going to start with the pros. The pros are there are a number of fantastic parks here in Johns Creek and nature preserve areas to go to. You've got Autry Mill Nature Preserve, really fun place to go walk and hike. They've got trails here. They've got some different setups with an old home setup, an old Native American, I think it's a Creek Indian setup, and what the life would have been like there. A little creek that runs in the area, so really fun place, nature preserve to go out. They do some tours here. I know they have some interactive animals to work with as well. So cool place to hang out and go for a hike and take your kids to visit. You've also got Newtown Park. They've got a fantastic dog park here. This one is one of the best dog parks in all of Atlanta. So if you got your four-legged friend, take them out there. You've also got some great baseball fields, soccer fields. Lacrosse is really big in the Johns Creek area. And matter of fact, in Metro Atlanta itself, lacrosse really wasn't a big thing here except for the last, I don't know, maybe 15 to 20 years, somewhere more like 15. Really became big here. So they got some lacrosse fields here as well. Newtown Park also has amphitheater pavilion, and they do different activities here. They do some yoga here. They do some dance classes outdoors here. So like I said, great place to hang out and enjoy. In addition to these parks, you got OC Park. Again, you got your baseball fields, your playground that is offered here. And you've got Shake Rag Park as well. Shake Rag Park actually has a cricket club that meets there, a Johns Creek Cricket Club. So if you're into cricket, you actually have an opportunity to play here. There's a group that meets here. I'll throw their website up on the screen real quickly. But if you're into cricket, it's a fun place to go and hang out and have opportunity to play that here. The Chattahoochee River runs through Johns Creek, and there's a number of places to put in at the Chattahoochee River in terms of if you want to boat, kayak, canoe, enjoy some fishing. Chattahoochee River does run through Johns Creek, so you got some outdoor activities to have. Now, on the con side of Johns Creek, first of all, there is no city center of Johns Creek. You have a number of shopping areas, strip mall areas, things like that, but there's no just city center to hang out with, which is a really big drawback because there are so many suburbs in Atlanta that have these cool city centers. You got Alpharetta, Roswell, Duluth, Norcross, just to name a few, Lawrenceville, in the area that have great city centers, and Johns Creek just doesn't have that. Now, with that said, they are in the process of trying to develop one, put that into play. You're probably 5 years out from that to 10 years. So it's going to be a while before that gets done. I mean, maybe that accelerates, but it's further out. I know they've got some drawings and pictures up. But anytime you have a development like this, there's delays or changes in plans, but just give a heads up. Johns Creek doesn't have a city center, a cool place to hang out at. So that's a drawback. That's a con. The other con is the lack of nightlife here. Plenty of restaurants here. You got some bars, but there's not really a nightlife scene. Again, some of those happen around city centers, which is nice. There are a few breweries that can be fun to hang out a bit again, but there's just no main attraction when it comes to nightlife. So if you're looking for things to do at night, sometimes you got to go a little bit further out of Johns Creek, head up to Alpharetta, Roswell, over Lawrenceville, Duluth, Peachtree Corners, things like that. But not a ton of nightlife happenings here in Johns Creek, so that's definitely a drawback for if you're looking for more of a nightlife scene. All right, a pro to Johns Creek is safety. Now, I know niche.com put it as a B-. Again, I've had some issues with niche.com when it comes to safety. I've been all around Johns Creek for plenty of times in different areas, different times of day. I have not been to a B- safety area of Johns Creek. Again, anything can happen anywhere, I know that, but when it comes to safety, I've got a wife and 2 young kids, and I'd be perfectly fine with them walking around anywhere in Johns Creek in the middle of the night. I think Johns Creek is a great place to live. If you look at other places, not just niche.com for safety, you'll see Johns Creek rates really high. So you look for yourself, you get a feel for it, but I feel perfectly safe in Johns Creek. All right, next thing we're looking for is raising a family here. Now, niche.com, I do agree with this one, put Johns Creek is the #1 place to raise a family. Johns Creek really is a nice family area. Johns Creek is mainly made up of mostly just homes, communities, neighborhoods. Again, there's some places to eat, and there's plenty of shopping in the area to go to, but mainly you just got a lot of communities and some parks around here, so it's really nice places to raise a family. You have Tech Park, where there's some tech industry at, but there's not a ton of industry. You don't see a lot of warehouses or things like that. It's just a lot of neighborhoods, so a lot of families, a lot of people just living here and living life. And Johns Creek's a great place. That part of raising a family is parks, plenty of them, playgrounds, plenty of them. You've also got your schools, All of them are really highly rated. So that all comes into play when it comes to raising a family in Johns Creek. There's a reason why niche.com put it as the #1 place to raise a family in Georgia, and those are just some of those reasons. I put this next one as a con, but it's kind of a con with some pros with it, and that's HOA and city restrictions. Most of the neighborhoods in Johns Creek have HOAs. HOAs can help with maintaining the value of homes in the areas because they restrict people from doing crazy things like painting your home neon green or things like that. But it can be a drawback because some of these HOAs can be pretty strict, and when you feel like you own a home, you don't want anybody telling you what you can and can't do to your own home. Another thing is Johns Creek, just the city has restrictions on fencing that can be put up. And sometimes it's confusing whether you're actually in Johns Creek or not based on your address. But they have more restrictions in the city for things to do. So when it comes to cutting down trees, putting up fences, things like that, you might have to go through your HOA or your city to get permits to be able to do this. And the time it takes for that, some of the money it takes to do that, can just be a pain in the butt. So keeping up home values and making everything look nice is good until you're the one person that has to get something done and you have to jump through all the hoops to get that done. So just a heads up, the HOA and city restrictions for Johns Creek sometimes can be a little bit of a pain, and it's off-putting for some people. All right, next pro I've got is the food in Johns Creek. So Johns Creek's not a super big area. There's not a main city center. There's restaurants, scattered about. But they have 125 restaurants in Johns Creek represented by 25 different countries. And there is some really good, authentic food that can be had here. Some of the restaurants that I know about or have enjoyed myself, there's one, the Persian Basket is really good. It's a Mediterranean place. You probably wouldn't know it was there until it was there. It's kind of in this behind the scenes area, but really good place to eat. You got Sugo for Italian food, which is really good. Let's see, there's and I'm going to probably mispronounce this. There's the Ethiopix Cafe and Restaurant. This is Ethiopian food. Fantastic food. Another place you may want to try is for Japanese is a sushi restaurant that's Daisuke Sushi. Sorry if I mispronounced that, but rated really highly. Another one is Belén de la Cruz Empanadas and Pastries. And then the last one is a craft burger by Shane place. So there's a lot from American to Persian to Ethiopian to Argentinian. Johns Creek just has a lot to offer when it comes to restaurants. And these all rank really highly. So if you get a chance in Johns Creek, go take a look at some of these restaurants. If you like some diversity in your food, Johns Creek has you covered with, again, 25 different countries represented here and a lot of good food here. I love authentic food. I love food with a little bit of a twist and the fusion, and you can get that covered here in Johns Creek. All right, traffic. Traffic's bad everywhere in Atlanta. We know this, but one thing about Johns Creek you'll notice is there's not really a major interstates really close by, so you have to take some major roads to get over to the interstates. You'll see on this map, you're not as close to 85, you're not as close to 400, so you do have to drive a little bit further to get to an interstate to jump into either downtown or maybe go north or around town. So, and then some of these major roads can get trafficy, can be backed up a lot of ways. So just be prepared for more traffic in Johns Creek just to get to it, some longer commute times. That may be a big negative for you. Traffic's bad everywhere in Atlanta, but Johns Creek, just since it's not near one of the major freeways or highways, this makes it a little more difficult to get around. Between what I had to say and some of the videos here, I hope it gave you a better picture of what it's like to live here in Johns Creek. If you're looking to make that move to Johns Creek or anywhere here in Atlanta or the metro Atlanta area, give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email. It doesn't matter if you're moving right now, a month from now, or a year from now. Would absolutely love to talk with you about making that smooth move here to Johns Creek or anywhere else in metro Atlanta. So thanks for watching, and I hope to see you next time.